neighbors from hell. Matt Gutman went on the trail of people you may not want living next to your home sweet home.
The saying goes that good fences make good neighbors. But how do you build a fence high enough to shield you from this kind of behavior, as seen in this local news piece?
How many fires have you had in your house? 3!
Talking out your kid.
Okay,
It's a big one. It's a big one.
Nut job.
Definitely, there's people shouldn't be arguing back and forth like that. It doesn't help. Best to try to resolve things. And if you can't, there's a few things you could do, which I'll mention in a bit.
Kathy Hesterberg says her family had been living peacefully in this suburb outside St. Louis for 30 years. That was until last fall, when a SWAT team descended on her next-door neighbor's home, suspecting drugs.
We heard this loud boom, where there was SWAT officers, police officers coming out from between the houses.
The man they were looking for? 48-year-old Greg Jennings, an avid hunter and the owner of a local tree trimming business.
So let me get this straight. He blames you?
Well, he actually put the blame on my mom.
What a wuss blaming the mom. Hey, later you'll find out he was doing drugs, so he was already doing something. Probably one of his people that he was dealing with snitched on him to get some brownie points or something with the other officers.
Kathy says Jennings accused her mother of tipping off police.
He said that she tipped off a police officer that lives down the block.
Starting that day, she says he became belligerent and bizarre.
This is what he made.
A noose in her front yard.
What the hell was he doing? He started burning fires in the backyard. The smoke was just awful. You couldn't breathe.
Deer carcasses beside the driveway and in the trash
What
cans.
a punk bothering
You never knew what you were going to come home
ladies.
to.
Are those okay? They're both working now.
So she installed security cameras to
Look
document
at that doofus. Oh, just stupid jokester.
He made it a point night
Bothering
after
ladies.
night after night to prance around out there right on the property line. Each night his behavior got more erratic.
He has a wife, and she's okay with it too.
Out in plain sight. Figure
She should have had her head on and told him, hey, stop this nonsense. It's stupid.
According to Kathy, that's him in the dead of night, strolling the grounds in his underwear. And here, that's right, he's wearing a box on his head.
Look
So
at that
what
doofus.
should you do if you have a nasty neighbor?
Look, she's trying to argue with him. This guy ain't gonna. He don't care.
They're getting the reaction that they want. They're going to keep doing it.
And what do you do if not even the police can help you? Kathy says
The
she
law will
called
help
them
you.
dozens of times.
If we don't have a specific law violation,
Yeah, there is. There's called harassment. There's called trespassing. There's called, I believe one is disorderly conduct. There's also, I believe something around after 10 o'clock if there's loud noises, or there's also, I believe something along the lines with peeping toms or something like that. Just something along those lines.
we can't do anything other than try and mediate between the two parties.
It's a fine line between
Again, they're arguing.
neighborly nuisance winding up in handcuffs. Jennings seems to know exactly how to navigate that gray area.
The limits of the law don't help, victims.
Yeah, because she's been told differently. Just go get a lawyer, a criminal lawyer, and he'll have some things. And you could go civil court. He could probably give a restraining order even, because it's definitely proof that he's doing stuff. And the judge would go, yeah, instantly. If I were a cop, I'll help these ladies, because that numbskull.
It covers bullies.
Would you say he's a bully?
Oh, yeah.
And that can hurt, says Shark Tank's Barbara Corcoran. She knows real estate.
The problem with a nasty neighbor is not only that you've had to live with them for 4 or 5 years, but when you want to get rid of them and have to sell your home, you have to disclose it. And so the damage to your home is enormous.
But since all that media...
Look at that doofus. Jeez. He's probably insecure and trying to make up and bothering people that can't beat him up. Shoot. That lady should have called some of her nephews and brothers or something and bothered this guy. It's so easy.
attention.
You're being a punk right now. You're being a punk.
Kathy tells us that she and Jennings were working towards a truce. So we figured we'd ask Greg Jennings his side of the story, and we left a letter and waited all day for him.
Oh,
It took a few attempts
your neighbors say you've been tormenting them, but I want to hear your side of the story, sir.
before he finally sort of responded.
My property, I'm calling the police.
Nah,
Mr.
he
Jennings,
wants to
I
call the
will
cops.
absolutely leave your property, but I'm sure you...
Turns out he didn't like company on his side of the fence.
Safely leave my property right now.
Go away!
Ah, look at that heifer.
Okay.
We left the property, but not all the
Heifer.
police anyway. Ironically, it turns out he had just been slapped with felony drug charges.
Felony drug charges,
1,000
see?
miles away, in sunny Miami, there was another landscaper allegedly making his neighbor's
There's another
lives
bozo.
a bed of thorns.
What's amazing is that this is your house, and that's his house right across the street.
That is correct. That is correct.
Francisco Torres says his feud with this man, Mitchell Agelco, started 2 years ago. Torres had fired Agelco as his landscaper.
That's one thing you gotta learn. Never do business with people you know, unless you're willing to just, even if they give you bad service, you gotta just deal with it. And, you know, best thing to do business with people you don't know, because then if it's no good, you just cut it out.
Big mistake. So, Torres says he installed a $70,000 security system.
Jeez.
He even quit his job to monitor it full
Quit his
time,
job.
hoping to catch Agelco red-handed.
Yeah,
Witness
a
what
lot
he
of
says
proof.
is the ultimate landscaper's revenge. Lawn-a-side. Watch Agelco's white truck driving by Torres' lawn. A mystery liquid squirts out the window. Torres says the grass died suddenly and never came back.
Because there
It
is
works.
so much poison that has been going through that there is no way any grass will grow.
Exhibit B. Agelco's dogs roaming on Torres' property, followed by a frat house classic.
He should have shot one of those dogs with a BB gun.
Throwing eggs at his house. Then things got downright medieval. Torres says these are nails catapulted from Agelco's truck onto his driveway. He hurled rocks. Torres is also...
Those nails right there, that's actually, I believe, vandalism and also borderline attempted murder, I believe, to some degree, because he's doing it on purpose and it could lead to something. As far down as not definitely murder 1 or 2, whatever, is way down the line, but he could definitely be charged with that. And as you'll see later, he will be charged for multiple things.
suspicious of another incident where 2 different men smashed his car windows.
Look at this.
Though Agelco,
That rock ricochet right back at the guy.
after calling
He actually spent money to have guys, and those guys could literally go back to that guy and blackmail him. Say, hey, we're gonna snitch you out unless you pay us like $5,000-$10,000. What a numbskull hiring those guys.
police 40 times that year, Torres finally got a restraining order. Agelco was arrested for
Look at that bozo.
criminal mischief and stalking,
He should spend his time in exercise.
and is currently awaiting trial. So we decided to try and ask Agelco himself why he has such hostility for his neighbors.
Hi, Mr. Agelco. How are you? My name is Matt Gutman. I'm from ABC News.
Dude, guilty guy don't even want to get out of his car.
Your neighbors say that you've
Both
been
guys are all
terrorizing them. I wonder
guilty.
if you have any answers for them. You're backing out. We just have a couple of questions for you, sir. You're not interested?
Agelco's lawyer has said his client was also a victim in this neighborhood feud.
Now he has a lawyer too.
Recourse for a community under siege by one of its own.
Yeah, that was all worth it.
When you get to that point where you've tried reasoning with someone, you've tried being friendly, you've done everything, if you need to fight fire with fire, and you can do it in a socially responsible, lawful manner, I say go for it.
See, one thing that guy didn't give no answers. It's pretty much he just call the cops until they go, okay, we'll help you out. Or you gotta play fire with fire, There's a lot of things you could do too. Such as some of those things that guy was doing, do it back. But here's the thing, you gotta be ready, because if you do things, it's gonna come even more. So my recommendation is call the cops until they go, you know what, we're tired of hearing from you, so we're gonna do something about it. And in both cases, as you've seen, eventually something was done about it, because they don't want to hear it, but they want this guy to, kind of send a message to these guys. So definitely, I would say that's the best bet. But if you have, I guess, the balls and don't care and have, I guess, time and money and, the guts, just do whatever back to them. Send a message. I've been down that road many times, and sometimes you just gotta bring on so hard that they just kind of go, no more. They want truce, and most of the time they want to be your friend later. So,
For this South Florida community, peace may only come after they've had their day in court.